You are silencing the sound the universe needs to hear in order to work in your favor. It's not your mind that's blocking manifestation. It's the muscle you ignore the most. The one that locks up quietly while you try to repeat affirmations you don't really believe, while you pretend everything is fine, while you swallow truths to avoid conflict. Your jaw learned to tighten before your soul ever learned how to express itself. Have you noticed how it stiffens when something needs to be said? How it clenches when an emotion tries to rise up? As if it's holding in a frozen scream, suspended in time, waiting for permission to exist. What you call tension might actually be a code. A protective code your body created when it realized speaking your truth was dangerous. But now, that same code is trapping your frequency, silencing your prayer, sabotaging your creation. The jaw is not just a joint. It's an energetic lock where you hide the most valuable part of yourself. And as long as it stays clenched, nothing you try to manifest will find vibrational alignment, because it's not enough to think or to feel. You need to declare, with intention, with truth, with presence. But you can't declare what your body won't allow you to release. In this video, you're going to find out why your ability to shape reality is being blocked, exactly in a place you never thought to look, and how reopening that channel can turn your manifestation into a real field of power. There is a kind of spiritual technology that most people can't see because it's not in the eyes. It's in the closed mouth, the tense jaw, the sound that never comes out. This part of the body holds one of the most underestimated secrets of vibrational manifestation. A secret so silent it can only be heard by those who have learned to decode the body's language. Most people believe creating reality depends on positive thinking. But there's no use thinking what you can't bring yourself to say. When your truth is stuck between your teeth, the universe responds to the cage, not the intention. The jaw is an energetic seal, not just any seal, but a bond between the word and the spirit. When it locks up, manifestation fractures, the field weakens, the word loses its power, and your prayer becomes just empty sound. The Hermetic schools used to teach that the word is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Hermes Trismegistus called the word a condensation of the divine mind, and he said that without vibrational coherence, every sound becomes noise, not creation. That means manifestation doesn't begin in the mind, but in the release of the inner word. In this context, the jaw is not just muscle. It is a guardian of old silences, unspoken memories, suffocated promises. It is where the body tries to stay in control, even when the soul is begging for release. But there's a code hidden there, a key that if turned can unlock not only your voice, but your destiny. And the most amazing part is you don't need years of practice to access it. All it takes is to restore the frequency between what you think, feel, and have the courage to say. What you're going to learn here is not just another theory. It is a vibrational act, a technique that turns repressed words into active force. And that changes everything, because when the word reconnects with the body, manifestation finds its way again. In ancient Egypt, the word was not a tool for communication. It was an act of power. The initiates knew everything that exists vibrates, and everything that vibrates can be shaped by sound. But not just any sound, only the one born from inner truth that flows through a clear channel and touches reality with intention. That is why the Hierophant spent years in ritual silence, not because of a vow of vocal chastity, but to purify the word. They understood that an impure word, no matter how well spoken, creates only an echo, and an echo does not create, it only repeats. Thoth, the scribe of the gods, did not write words, he sealed frequencies. Each sentence he recorded was not just wisdom, it was a vibrational spell, a code that translated the invisible into form, an idea into existence. The Hermetic texts reveal that the sacred word needs a prepared body, and that the greatest enemy of creation is not ignorance, it is distortion. The attempt to express a truth that is still trapped, fragmented, or blocked. This is why initiation never started with the mind. It began with the body, the breath, the mouth. Because until the jaw is cleared, no teaching can truly be embodied. This wisdom crossed centuries in hidden manuscripts, but it got lost in the rush of modern life, which prefers repeating over feeling. Today, many talk about manifestation, but few speak words that carry soul. What those ancient traditions knew, and science is only now beginning to confirm, is that the body is not a neutral vessel. It vibrates, informs, limits, or expands. And when a center like the jaw is blocked, everything around it becomes distorted. The secret is not in memorizing catchy phrases. It is in rebuilding the temple through which the divine word will pass. And that temple begins in your face, in your jaw, in the muscle where the soul hides its pain the most. As brain scanning methods evolve, something unsettling begins to emerge. Certain physical tensions reveal more about our emotional history than many conscious accounts ever could. Among them, jaw tension stands out, not just as a physical discomfort, but as a bodily trace of silent repression. The trigeminal nerve, which innervates the jaw, is directly connected to the limbic system, the brain's emotional center. This connection explains why, in emotionally intense experiences, many people clench their teeth, tighten their jaw, or keep their mouth shut even at rest. At that point, the body is not just reacting to the present, it is carrying forward unresolved patterns from the past. Studies in somatic neuroscience show that constant tension in this area activates the stress axis, the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the adrenal glands. This neuroendocrine circuit triggers hormones that keep the body in a defensive state, even when there's no apparent threat. And here's the core point. This state disrupts the coherence between mind, emotion, and expression. Your thoughts may be aligned with your desires, but if your body is signaling alert, fear, or censorship, the vibrational field you generate becomes dissonant. It's not just intention that creates, it's the full frequency you emit. And a tense jaw distorts that frequency at its source, silencing your creative power before it even has a chance to vibrate. Releasing the jaw is not just about relaxing a muscle, it is about realigning the vibrational gateway of expression. It is about restoring the bridge between what you feel, what you think, and what you dare to speak out loud. But this is not done through force, it is done through presence. Everything begins with quietly recognizing what you've been holding back. Feel your face now, without judgment. Just notice. Is there heaviness, tightness, a missing lightness you've come to normalize? The first step is not to let go, it is to listen to what is stuck. Place your fingertips on your jaw joint, right where it moves when you open your mouth. Take a deep breath and silently ask, what hasn't yet been said within me? Don't expect a logical answer, just feel what your body returns. A tremble, a memory, a held back desire. Trust whatever comes. Now, bring your attention to the roof of your mouth. This area is the altar of vibration. In ancient Egypt, it was believed that the sacred sound began right there. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and as you exhale, make a gentle sound, a long humming softly. Let the vibration fill your skull, reach the bones of your face, and touch your jaw from the inside. This is not just any sound. It is a vibrational command that says, I am ready to be a channel. Do this for 3 full breath cycles, just 3. But do it with sincerity. This simple act begins to dissolve heavy, invisible layers built up over the years. Then, quietly repeat a phrase of release. I give myself permission to say what my soul needs to express. This is not a magical affirmation. It is a code of reopening. And the body understands, because it always knew what it was waiting to release. Do not rush. What was blocked in silence needs to be heard with respect. This is the beginning of realignment, the first opening of the creative channel. Now that the portal has been touched, we need to expand it, because unlocking the jaw is only the beginning. True transformation happens when the whole body aligns with the new frequency. The next step is to integrate movement, sound, and intention. When you wake up, before speaking to the world, speak to your own field. Place your hands over your throat, take a deep breath, and slowly say, what I express today shapes what I receive tomorrow. Said with presence, this phrase programs the neuroquantum field of manifestation. This is not about magic, it is about active vibrational coherence. Then go to a mirror. Look directly into your own eyes. Notice if there's any awkwardness, discomfort, or hesitation in truly facing yourself. If there is, that's good. It means you're accessing real layers. Now say, with firmness and gentleness, I have the right to be heard. As you repeat, observe your jaw. Is it moving with ease, or does it still hold tension? Become aware of this. Manifestation requires a body that echoes truth, not one that twists it. Now, let's activate subtle movement. With your mouth slightly open, slowly move your jaw from side to side in calm, conscious cycles. This movement releases not just the muscle, but also the micro-emotions that have been frozen there. With each shift, imagine you are clearing away traces of old silences, not with force, but with energetic grace. At the end, lie down for a moment and bring your attention to the base of your tongue. This area, often overlooked, is one of the places where the soul represses truth the most. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, say inwardly, my word is sacred. My body is a temple. My expression is liberation. You are training your biology to become an instrument of consciousness again. And when the body aligns with the word, reality begins to respond in a different language. We've now reached the point where release transforms into conscious creation. You are not just unlocking a muscle, you are reactivating your manifestation channel. And this channel, once cleared, doesn't just speak, it emits frequency. This is where the word stops being ordinary language and returns to its role as creative vibration. But for that to happen, you must break free from automatic speech. Words spoken without presence are like arrows shot without direction. Choose a moment in your day to use your voice as a tool of vibrational architecture, not to convince anyone, but to shape the field around you. Speak to yourself in a low voice, phrases that carry inner truth, even if they still feel fragile. For example, I am building a reality that honors me. Repeat it slowly. Feel your mouth forming each syllable. Notice how your body reacts. Now take it further. Use sound vibration as a seed for your field. Give it rhythm, give it intention, create a pulse. The universe does not respond to the content of your phrase, it responds to the vibrational state it carries. In that state, your word is no longer a request, it becomes a vibrational proclamation, a declaration of presence. This practice becomes even more powerful when combined with conscious breathing. Inhale deeply into your abdomen. Hold for 2 seconds. Exhale by making a vocalized sound that comes from your throat, not your mouth. It could be an A, an E, any sound that resonates with you. This sound is not chosen for how it sounds, but for how it feels. When the right frequency touches the right field, you will know. It won't be an ordinary shiver. It will be an inner recognition that something aligned. The body knows, the spirit confirms, and the jaw, which once was the point of repression, now becomes the point of emission. Not as a physical function, but as a broken seal. You begin to speak with your entire body, and the universe, at last, understands your language. Harper grew up being told she needed to be strong. The middle child, soft-spoken, restrained gestures, always the mediator, never the center. Over time, she learned to avoid confrontation, to smile when something hurt, to say "I'm fine" when nothing was. At 32 years old, Harper developed severe She ground her teeth at night, bit her lip without noticing, lived with a locked jaw. She tried physical therapy, wore a mouthguard, took muscle relaxants. Nothing worked. It felt like she was carrying a knot between her bones, an invisible tightness that wouldn't release. It was during a conscious breathing session that she heard the question, "What have you never said out loud?" And something inside her cracked, not in the jaw, in her memory. The muffled childhood cry surfaced. The anger of never having screamed, the fear of disappointing, the shame of wanting to be heard. In that moment, Harper understood. Her body had been speaking everything her mouth had silenced. In the days that followed, she began a new practice. She sat in silence, touched her face, took deep breaths, and in a low voice, she said, "I exist, I matter, I am allowed to speak." The words trembled at first, her voice wavered, but her jaw slowly began to release. Over time, she realized this wasn't just about easing a muscle. She was realigning her frequency, opening an ancient channel. Not to speak more, but to speak truthfully. Today, Harper still has difficult days, but she no longer stays silent. Her voice is not loud, but it is steady. And where there was once a tense jaw, there is now a clear word. The reality around her has changed, because the frequency she now emits comes from a place that was once locked deep inside. Most people don't abandon the process for lack of technique. They give up because they feel they don't have the right to express who they truly are. That is the most subtle and the most paralyzing obstacle. The belief that your voice is a risk. The body has learned that speaking the truth might lead to rejection, conflict, or abandonment. So it protects, it locks, it silences. Not because it wants to sabotage you, but because it is still obeying an old pain. And when you try to release the jaw, that fear shows up. Not as a clear thought, but as discomfort, shame, or a block. That's where many stop, because they mistake resistance for failure. But what you feel in that moment is not the end of the path. It is the beginning of transformation. The key is to understand that fear does not need to be defeated. It needs to be embraced. Close your eyes, place a hand on your jaw, and say inwardly, "I hear this fear, but I choose truth anyway." That is vibrational alchemy. You are not fighting the old, you are rewriting the pattern from within. Every time you express something with presence that you once kept silent, a part of you is rebuilt. This process doesn't require perfection, it requires consistency. And with every word spoken in authenticity, your frequency adjusts. The jaw softens, the vibration rises, reality begins to listen. You no longer need to live with that tightness in your face when something needs to be said, nor keep smiling when the truth burns inside. Today, You've learned that your jaw is not an obstacle, it is a mirror. It reflects everything that's still stored within you, not out of weakness, but out of loyalty to what once protected you. But what once was protection has now become a prison. And the key to break free was never outside. It vibrates between the bones of your own face. Every micro-tension, every nighttime grinding, every word you swallowed, all of it was a code. And you've begun to decode it. You've learned that manifestation doesn't respond to memorized phrases. It responds to the coherence between what you feel and what you dare to express. And that your mouth can only create what your entire body allows to vibrate. This knowledge is not theoretical. It is practical, visceral, urgent. It demands presence in your gestures, intention in your words, and courage in the silence you break. You don't need to speak loudly, you need to speak clearly, and that changes everything. From this point forward, your practice is simple, yet sacred. Release your jaw every day as if opening a portal. And remember that your voice is not just sound, it is presence in its purest form. And true presence always reorganizes the field around you. As Friedrich Nietzsche once said, everything truly great happens without our knowing. The voice of the soul does not shout. It just needs space to be heard again. So make space, not to convince the world, but to reconnect with what within you has always known. When your words begin to carry truth again, your reality will begin to carry meaning. Because there is no frequency more powerful than that of a human being who finally dared to say what they felt. If this content awakens something in you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This simple gesture helps sustain the expansion of a knowledge that needs to keep echoing. I want to know how this practice resonated in your body. Write in the comments, "My word vibrates with the truth of my soul." This phrase seals your commitment to the release of what has always been ready to emerge. Share this video with someone who needs to reclaim their inner voice, the one that was never meant to be silenced. And keep going on your journey. Click on the screen and dive into another transformative video from the channel. Remember, the universe only responds clearly to those who have the courage to emit their own.